do not feel left out. Because as Satan, low consciousness, modifies his children, the good father will modify his children. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. I was asked a question yesterday, which I answered, but it's worth repeating. And I explained it like this: that consciousness is like a cake, and it's been sliced, and this certain man has sliced the cake amongst 7.6 billion children, and every child has got a slice of this cake from a certain man. And but the certain man wanted to sit down with his children and have a garden party, so he called all of his children and to invite them to the garden party. But a lot of the children looked at their slice of cake and complained that it was really small because a certain man, he had to slice the cake and he divided the cake equally. But most of the children complained that their piece of cake was so small that attending the garden party would be a fruitless task. It'd be pointless. And what kind of a party would it be worth going to that party because their slice of cake was so small? And the certain man was rather pissed off by that. Have no doubt about that. So he visited the children that rejected his invite to the garden party, and he took back from them their small piece of cake. But from the 7.6 billion children that were invited, there were a few, not many, a few, that were grateful for their small piece of cake. And they accepted the invitation to the garden party. And when they arrived at the garden party, a certain man gave them more cake that he had taken from the ungrateful children. So, what I'm saying is that the consciousness that the planet has is shared equally. And everyone's been called. But some people are too deaf and too blind to see it. So what little they have, for the ones that heard the call, more will be given. And those that think they have, it will be taken away from them. But the numbers of people that have heard the call is really small. But they'll receive more. So instead of having a thin slice of cake, you're now going to have a big fucking doorstep slice of a cake. Where your thoughts will immediately interact with this holographic reality, where your emotions and your words will interact immediately with this holographic reality. Now, can you even begin to imagine what that would look like? Now, I chose to write about it that way and speak about it that way because it's the easiest way to understand it. Oh, excuse me. And that's the bottom line, where you'll have so much consciousness that you will be able to interact with your reality, which is consciousness, and the results will be instantaneous. But to do that, first you have to be made perfect. Now, perfection is light. That means any darkness that's in you will be taken out of you. It will be removed. Which means that you couldn't do any evil, even if you tried. You wouldn't even have the ability to even think in that way. Because that level of consciousness has been that level of darkness has become so illuminated, it's just not possible. So those of you that are thinking, oh, I'm going to lose so much, I'm going to, all these things that I've worked for, relationships, friends, material wealth, don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about anything. Because that's the reward when it comes. That's the reward. But, to get a reward, you've got to walk through some shit. And that's the testing part. But as you meditate and as you clean your house, you'll move from faith. You'll move away from belief. Because you'll know. You'll know. You would have had enough inward experience to know without any doubt. There will be a certainty. Now, as the journey progresses, there will be times when you will have doubt. That's just the mind. But that'll pass. You'll experience the highs and the lows. But as time moves on, these highs and lows will become more frequent. So it'll be like this, then it goes like this, and then it's like this, and eventually it will be no more down here, it'll just be up here, and it will stay there. Okay? Pisces was the age of believing. 2 fish. One believed, one didn't. And this is Aquarius. It's an air sign. Waves. Waves of energy. Like I said, it was ramping up. Pay attention to what's going on in here, not out there.